We're staying with the markets, but this time in the U.S., where stock futures edged higher today, putting the Dow Jones Industrial Average on track to resume its advance to never-before-seen heights. The Dow Jones Industrial Average futures added 0.17% to 22,732, while the S&P 500 futures stacked 0.16% to 2,549. Nasdaq 100 futures rose by 0.21% to 6,077. On Friday, the Dow and the S&P 500 edged lower as traders digested a monthly jumps report that was fueled by Hurricanes Irma and Harvey, but each gauge still gained more than 1% for the week. And most Asian markets closed higher on Monday as investors in Asia digest the release of China Caixin Services PMI. The S&P ASX 200 rose 0.5% to close at 5,739.3 on broad-based gains across most sub-indexes. Major miners gave up early gains to close lower, while gold stocks held onto significant gains. With Japan, South Korea and Taiwan markets closed for public holidays, investors turned their attention to China as mainland markets resumed trade after the week-long Golden Week holiday. Markets on the mainland rallied, shrugging off lackluster services. Data released earlier in this session, the Shanghai Composite climbed 0.77% to close at 3,374.87, and the Shenzhen Composite surged 1.3% to finish the session at 2,014.42. The blue chip CSI 300 rose 1.19%, and that's touching its highest levels since 2015. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index was up 0.47%. And let's take a breather from those numbers. Now, the central bankers, ministers of finance and development, as well as private sector executives and representatives of civil society organizations are all gathered in Washington, D.C. in the United States for the annual meeting of the World Bank and the IMF. The meeting, which kicks off today, will feature discussions on issues of global concern, including the world economic outlook, poverty eradication, economic development, and aid effectiveness. Nigeria's Central Bank Governor, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, and the Finance Minister, Mr. Skemi Adeosu, of course, will be attending this meeting. This year's event will also feature seminars, regional briefings, press conferences, and many other events focused on the global economy, international development, and the world's financial system. Channels Television will bring you up to speed with the happenings at these events. Remittances from expatriate Egyptians continue their uptrend for the 8th month in a row, reaching 40% year-on-year in August. Data from the Central Bank of Egypt shows remittances has reached $16.3 billion since Egypt floated its currency in November through August. The CBE floated the Egyptian pound in November, aiming to unlock foreign currency inflows and crush a black market for dollars that had discouraged people from channeling foreign currency through the banking system. The uptick in remittances suggests that the flotation and subsequent steep depreciation in the pound has succeeded in encouraging Egyptians to send more money home through the formal economy. Meanwhile, the project by the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization in Egypt aims to educate farmers on the best harvesting practices for the optimum use of land and crops. The program also targets youth and women to help improve food security and reduce waste. The Food and Agricultural Organization project educates farmers on the best harvesting practices as well as promotes modern techniques. In the past 5 years since its launch, it has reached 2,708 women and youth in cities where malnutrition accounts for 35% of the disease burden in children under 5.
As we just saw there, we saw the field soil school and how we trained the farmers on proper farming practices. In Beni Suev Governorate, in the Farming Directorate, we will see farming on the rooftops and in industry. We will also see the nutrition kitchen. Through the rooftop farming, we will try and make communities produce food from small spaces, as we will see.
The project is designed to improve food security among the vulnerable by improving the skills of women and youth in food production, small animal husbandry, and other entrepreneurial activities, according to the United Nations. Farmers say they also want the government to act as a negotiator between small farmers and exporters to ensure they get good prices for their produce.
The most important thing is the marketing. They have to guarantee to me as a farmer that my right is preserved. I do not want the big trader and exporter to take what is my right. It is the government that has to be the common factor between the exporter and the producer. This is what is required from the government and also the follow-up. We do everything correctly, but unfortunately, there's absolutely no follow-up.
The FAO approaches families within Upper Egypt and holds workshops using kitchen to cook healthier and efficiently, how to generate income from good processing, and teaching children better farming skills.
We are improving their income by finding employment for the females. Secondly, we teach them how to farm their land more efficiently, which will improve their income and help them sleep better. Moreover, instead of giving them 1 kilo of tomatoes per day, we give them as much as 3 kilos, which helps feed the needy.
Several facilities have been set up to teach members of the community how to select crops, irrigate, harvest and store produce, as well as impart business and marketing skills. The UN says 1 in every 2 children in Egypt under 5 suffers from some degree of anemia. Sasol Limited, the world's largest maker of fuel from coal, has abandoned the plan to sell about 13 billion rand, which is about $950 million of shares, to meet its obligation to repay debt owed by a black investor group. A decline in the company's stock since the mid-2014 slump in crude prices precluded payouts to more than 250,000 black South Africans who participated in the Inzalo transaction in 2008, forcing Sasol to settle the more than 12 billion rand they owe. South Africa has set targets for black ownership as it seeks to redress the economic inequalities stemming from the white minority rule under apartheid that ended in 1994. Still to come on Business Incorporated, a look at the tourism sector in Tunisia. Do stay with us.